Whether you want to charm a suspicious tiefling guard into letting you into the castle, search an abandoned library for clues of a missing elf, or smash through a locked door, you'll have to make an ability check. An ability check is a character's attempt at overcoming a challenge represented by a number in-game called a DC, or difficulty class. Ability checks often take into account a character's training or innate talents, so sometimes they get to add a bonus to the die roll. More on that later. Some actions in a D&D game are so easy they won't call on a character's skills, like walking through an unlocked door. Other actions, however, are trickier and will require a character to flex their skills. Perhaps you walk into a room and want to try and break open a door that seems to be blocked from the other side. This is an action that has a chance of failure and will require physical force, so the Dungeon Master, or DM, will ask a player to make a strength check. In order to make any ability check, you would then roll a d20 and add the relevant ability modifier, in this case, your bonus to strength. Some characters will find this easier than others. A burly barbarian with 4 arms of steel would hopefully find this a walk in the park. But if you're a tiny halfling who skipped leg day, you might have to ask for an assist. Ability checks call on one of your ability scores that line the left-hand side of your character sheet. Those are Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Ability scores are numerical representations of your character's physical and mental abilities. It might help to think of your abilities like this. Strength is your ability to lift a heavy crate of daggers. Dexterity is being able to accurately throw a dagger from a distance. Constitution is being able to continue a fight after being slashed by a dagger. Intelligence is knowing a dagger is shorter than a sword. Wisdom is knowing not to bring a dagger to a sword fight, and Charisma is being able to talk your way out of that sword fight. There are a few things that might alter the result of an ability check. For example, some ability checks might call for a character's specific skill, or a bonus the character gets for tackling specific tasks. A skill is a specialized aspect of an ability. For example, animal handling, the ability to get domesticated animals to do what you want, is an aspect of wisdom. Stealth, the ability to move undetected, is an aspect of dexterity. There are 18 such skills in D&D, but don't worry, you don't have to memorize them. They're all listed on your character sheet. Your character is proficient in one or more skills. When you make an ability check associated with such a skill, you not only add your ability bonus to the die roll, but your proficiency bonus as well. There are other factors that might aid you in an ability check. One of the most common is another player helping you, which grants advantage on the roll. Whenever you roll with advantage, roll 2d20s and use the higher number. Teamwork makes the dream work after all. On the other side of the coin, you might find yourself in an unfavorable situation and be required to roll with disadvantage, which means rolling 2d20s and taking the lower number. Perhaps you're trying to sneak undetected past a guard, but you're wearing some particularly noisy plate armor. It's not impossible to succeed, but there's a good chance they'll hear you clanking in the bushes. Let's see what this looks like in a game. Say you're playing as the High Elf Wizard from the D&D starter set Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. This character has the Sage background, meaning you have spent time studying the nature of magic and the great wizards of days past who wielded it. It makes sense then that you're proficient in history and arcana, your ability to recall lore about all things magic and the history of the world around you. So, you arrive at a quiet clearing in a forest and see a mysterious magical creature in front of you. You could ask your DM if you can identify the creature, and they will then ask you to make an arcana check. You roll your d20, and given that you're proficient, you'll add your total bonus of +5. If your d20 roll plus your total bonus of +5 is greater than or equal to the difficulty class your DM assigns to the effort, you succeed. As a Dungeon Master, you'll learn when to call for an ability check and how to set its DC, or difficulty class. Most adventures, including the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle found in the D&D starter set, often specify which type of ability check is needed, when, and its DC. However, there might be times when a player has a totally creative idea that no one could have predicted. Well, don't panic. Just think about which skill or ability score is relevant to the action. Does it involve a feat of strength? Are they calling upon their knowledge of the world around them? Do they need to be extra charming just to pull it off? Just use your best judgment. It's much more important that you're having fun than worrying about the rules. Now, think about the DC. If it isn't specified, a good rule of thumb is that relatively easy actions have a DC of 10, difficult actions have a DC of 15, and very difficult actions have a DC of 20. Don't be afraid to have fun with it too. Whether the ability check was a success or a failure, get creative with narrating how it plays out. In fact, sometimes the result of a failure is even more interesting, causing players to regroup and devise a new plan of action, not to mention a great opportunity for roleplay. Succeed or fail, ability checks add a bit of randomness that drives the fun. Even when things don't go your way, they're sure to make a great story. Good luck, keep those dice warm, and happy adventuring!